Welcome. Welcome to the office. Now that you guys are here, we can get into it and discuss The Last Jedi in totality. We're bringing back order to the galaxy. Now, my take on this, I did my review, and when I seen it that time, I think I had just seen it twice when I made my movie review. And there have been a couple of changes. I've seen the movie 6 times. 6. So, believe me, watching a movie more than once, very, very helpful when making a movie review. 6 times already. Talking about exhaustion. I'm very exhausted. That this will be my first Star Wars free, not going to see it today at all. I've seen it enough for right now. So, and not only is that, I mean, I've taken 3,000 pictures. You know, it was all great to make the kids, you know, smile and all that stuff. It was great for them, you know. So, oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's John. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Well, this is the Screen Fiend account. So the Screen Fiend account should be a go, no matter what. Now, let's talk about this from a winning perspective. Meaning that, oh yeah, shouts out to Sean Craddock who sent me this holder. Let me see if this is balanced right. It looks like it's crooked, but it's not. At least I don't think it is. If it is, so be it. It's off an inch. Does it look a little slanted to you? Because if so, I could fix that narrative. Let me see. Alright, that should do it. But anyway, it looks a lot better now. Anyway, thank you, Sean, for the whole layout with this little holder. It does play a better, you know, me holding it, moving around. I can be hands-free a little bit. So now, let's get things into perspective about the film. Rian Johnson written and directed this, The Last Jedi. Okay, now, it's hard to do a movie review like this because it's full of spoilers. And you don't want to spoil anything when you're telling the original movie review. You just want people to go see it. So your movie review is always going to be terrible when you make one of these. Or it's just going to be bland. It's going to be... And then, you know, the action ensues and then this and that. Now we can talk freely about the film. Now let this be a warning to all of you. If you have not seen the movie and you don't care about spoilers, feel free. If you don't want anything spoiled for you and you hadn't seen it yet, you can always watch this video later. Okay? Now, let's go through the beginning. From the opening crawl, they're telling you about the conflict and basically everything that already happened in episode The Force Awakens, right? 7. So now, as we're watching this episode, and how it ensues, the first opening shot is amazing. When you're seeing the escape transports. They're trying to escape the First Order because it continues right where it left off. And that's the first time Star Wars has ever done that. And by doing that, what he's doing is wrapping up a story that's not his. Rian Johnson is finishing J.J. Abrams' story that he started. He's concluding it in his own fashion. So in order to do that, he doesn't think there needs to be a gap in between. So the first order had to come right back. Like we ain't even leaving. Soon as you on the ship, you go get them now because they know the location to where they are. So they already evacuating. They like, we got to get out of here. Yeah, we blew up that Star Killer base and that was cool, but we got to roll. They know where we at. So they trying to get out of there, and the First Order just shows up in the middle of them trying to leave. And this was the first sign I saw where Poe Dameron's ship came to meet them. And the one TIE fighter, I felt that that was really cool shot. The whole scene with him talking to Hux was excellent. The comedy there didn't throw the movie off. I thought it would take away from the severity of the movie. I was afraid that was going to happen when they started it, when the comedy early. But they did the same thing in The Force Awakens with the same character, Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron, when he first met Kylo Ren, he kind of took some levity out of it when he was like, who talked first? Do you talk first? Do I talk first? So it didn't take anything away from the character. This is how Poe Dameron is. Period. Now, originally, Poe Dameron was supposed to die while being tortured on the ship in the original Force Awakens. And Oscar Isaac said, no, I think this character should stay alone. You know, don't kill this guy off, man. You know, this guy could really be something. And JJ ended up, they liked the scenes that they shot with Oscar Isaacs and said, you know what, let's not kill him. Let's keep him around. And that was the smartest thing they've done in Star Wars lore. Poe Dameron does not need to die. He needed to be. He was the whole centerpiece of this movie here. He was a big, big chunk of piece for this film. Now, you go to the arcs of the film. They go right to Snoke, who basically is disappointed that Kylo Ren was beaten by Rey. But it fixes the narrative and the question that we all had. Why was Rey able to beat Kylo Ren and she had never held a lightsaber before? And it was like, that don't make sense. With all the Jedi training he's had by Luke, how did he get beat by Rey? Snoke explains that while he's scolding Kylo Ren. He's telling Kylo Ren, yeah, you killed Han Solo and it weakened you. It stripped your spirit down to the bone. And you were off balance. And that's how she was able to beat you. A person that had never held a lightsaber before. He was so disgusted with him and he wanted him to take that mask off. Take that ridiculous thing off in my presence. And it's funny because, see, in the original Force Awakens, Kylo Ren never wears the mask in front of Snoke. When he's in there with Snoke, he never wears the mask. So this was the first time he was wearing the mask in front of Supreme Leader Snoke. So he's like, take that ridiculous thing off. Oh, you're just a boy in the mask. Now, originally in the script, we heard that he was going to tell people the reason he was wearing the mask is because a lot of the guys in the First Order, a lot of people didn't know that Kylo Ren was Ben Solo, the former Jedi. They didn't know he was Ben Solo. They just knew him as Kylo Ren. Only General Hux and Snoke knew of his identity. He would always wear the mask around everyone else. They never saw him without the mask. So they never knew who he was. Now, he's like, F it. You know, that was supposed to have been his punishment, that he couldn't have the mask anymore. Now they changed a lot. And a lot of scenes in this film is changed. If you watch the trailer, there's a lot of scenes in this film that are so changed and they were reshoots, and I could tell from just watching the film the number of times. So during all of this conflict, you start to see, and this is what I love about this film. I love about it. Everything that you think is going to go one way doesn't. It doesn't go that 1 in a million. Star Wars is built on We only got one chance at this. Down to the last second, and a shot go, and everybody escape. It's not like that. And this film showed you the difference between that. Being smart and being heroic. That was the theme of this entire film. And people missed it because it wasn't something that went with one character. It went with everybody. Everybody was trying to make it like, I'm the hero. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I got to be the one to step up to do this and do that. It's like, no. We got to be smart. We got to make the smart decision here. Being heroic at what cost? As Poe Dameron went and attacked the Dreadnought, Leia told him, okay, you done your job, come back to the ship. Nah! We could blow up this Dreadnought right now. Come on, we can take it out. Come on, bombers. He cut off my microphone off and he bringing in the bombers. Next thing you know, things don't go all the way it's supposed to. All the bombers get blown up, except for one. Except for one. And the bombers go over. They fall down. And the one bomber hit the button and, you know, took out the Dreadnought. But they lost all their bombers. They could have escaped before the First Order really found them or got all of them. And been on the ship and they could have bounced. But they couldn't escape because the First Order got something they know nothing about. They could track them through light speed. So when they came through light speed, 30 seconds later, here comes the First Order. Everybody's, whoa, where did they come from? Now the First Order's there. And they realize they can track us through light speed. So if you go through light speed again, you're going to be out of fuel. And they just going to show up 10 seconds later and they can just blow y'all all to bits. And that's the end of the rebellion. Right there. So when they show up, Leia was scolding Poe to tell him, yeah, we blew up a Dreadnought, but look how many people we lost. We lost all our bombers. And he was like, yeah, but there were heroes out there on that mission. Yeah, all heroes. Dead heroes and no leaders. And she's trying to get him to understand that being on the ship is a lot, being smart is a lot more important. Trying to survive and saving as many people as possible is more important than just going to war, blowing stuff up. There's values and strategic ways of winning war. Sometimes retreat is necessary. And that was the message that they were trying to live to fight another day. You fight it different ways. So aggression is not always the best way to go. She's trying to get him to do that because she wants him to be the leader that she know he could be. So down this road they go. Finn wakes up while all of this is going on. And of course, the first question he wants to know is, where's Rey? Because last thing he remembers being conscious was he was fighting Kylo Ren. So he kind of wakes up with that whole thing and he doesn't know where he is or what's going on. But Rey was the only person he knew at that situation and what was going on. So now he's informed what's happening. By this time, the First Order's attacking before they can get to their ship. Poe Dameron can get out and try to fight. They come out. Kylo Ren's in there mad because he got scolded. He shoots out the ships and makes sure to blow up the whole fleet ship so they couldn't come out. All the X-Wings get blown up. All the pilots get blown up basically except for Poe. And that's the scene you see in the trailer with the explosion going off and all the X-Wings are gone. And Kylo Ren is locking in on Leia. He feels Leia in the cockpit. He knows she's there. And he's got his finger on the button. And he don't hit the button. He puts it off to the side. Then here comes 2 missiles. Boom! From the other ships. And they blow up the cockpit. Leia is sucked out into space. Admiral Akbar. I was the only one sad Admiral Akbar was gone. Admiral Akbar, no! Now, Admiral Akbar is gone. Now, this is where the fans and Star Wars fans and all these internet people, they get crazy over this scene. Leia's in space, and I've seen it 6 times, and I've saw 6 reactions. And it was, oh my God. You know, because everyone assumes this is the end of the story. This is how they're going to write Leia out of the film. So, everyone's come to the conclusion this is it. They're going to write Leia out of the story. This is how they're going to do it. And the way they're playing the music, she's in slow-mo, floating in space, and everybody's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then her hand extends. You see her hand extended. Then it turns. Her eyes open, and she uses the Force to guide herself to the ship. And certain Star Wars fans, you know, just fanatics and crazy individuals, psychotic with it and don't understand too much, assume they're changing it, they're ruining it. Since when Leia could fly? The Force don't make you fly. Silly idiots. I hope you watched this video so that you would understand what Rian Johnson was doing and what he was telling you in this story. She was not flying. She was in space. There's 0 gravity. She guided herself by using the Force. And you're saying, well, when did Leia could use the Force? There was like a 30-year gap from 6 to 7. Luke was there at the end of 6 with Leia. She knows they're twins, okay? She knows they're brother and sister. She knows there's abilities she has. So there's probably Force things that she was taught, that she know or she picked up once she was aware of her power that was made present. So she's not a Jedi or a Padawan, but she's a Force user. She has abilities in the Force. So why would it be far-fetched to see her use the Force to guide herself back? And she was in critical condition because she was freezing in these conditions. It's a very simple fix. Anyway, I had no problem with that scene altogether. Rian Johnson did an outstanding job. I had no problem with that one whatsoever. Now, it was the best movie ever. Oh yeah, hold on one second. Some people are trying to get in, and they want to get in. Hold on, don't go nowhere. We coming right back. Okay, we are back. Commercial break is over. I don't know why I say hold on and people be acting like I said something entirely different. Now, now that we're back, let's get more into it. In this one, you didn't see a lot of lightsaber play, but when you did, it was worth it. Lot better than The Force Awakens. Now, in this film, they cut to Rey. Because at this point, we hadn't seen Rey. Well, all this battling was going on. So they cut to her and Luke. And this is where Rey's story kicks in at with her. And she's there for her own reason. She's there so she wants to find out who her parents is and more about her family. And what's this power that she has? This is why Rey's here. Why am I having problems all of a sudden? I shared it to the world and now People are losing their minds. Now, at this point, Rey is losing her mind. Because Luke comes in there, she gets the lightsaber to him, and he throws it over his head and walks off. So she's confused. She's there thinking she's going to get answers, and Luke could help her get answers, and she's got all of these things going on in her body that's alive now. That she, like, it was there all along, now it's awake, and I don't know what I'm doing here. What's my arc, basically? In this, like, what's my place in this story? Luke is like, just go away. I don't care who you are. Your sister sent me. I don't care. So Chewie come bust the door down. Boom! Then he finds out Han is dead. And it took it from a different place than where we saw The Force Awakens. That was the one detraction that I had, is that it took away from the meaning, the look of despair that Luke had when she was handing him the lightsaber. It looked like on his face, he was like, oh no, like if you're here and you found me and you're handing me a lightsaber, it's like he knew or he felt what had happened with the Force. Like he knew what was going on already. But he didn't know anything. He was like somebody that was working at the liquor store, that somebody came in and told him what had happened. Like, dude, did you see what happened out there? No, what happened? Han dead? For real? You know, like, who are you? It's like the Force he wasn't using the Force to tell him anything. So you see him go through his ventures or his daily routines, then you can see the Jedi books are calling to Rey. Inside is the Jedi tree. You see the Jedi symbols, the tree. Then you have all of these books with all this Jedi knowledge and text. So now Luke is really concerned, like, who are you? How have you seen this before? Now, she has very powerful future visions. That is Rey. Rey has very powerful future visions. Now, what we've seen so far, and what I mean so far, I meaning that the things that we've witnessed, she has already seen. Like, she's seen the tree, she's seen the beach, the water, all this. She saw it all. She saw all of this in her visions. Something that Kylo, he can't really see that far. He can't see as well as Rey can. So, his abilities, as powerful as they are not as strong as Rey's. So while she's there, she's able to connect with Kylo Ren, and she doesn't even know how. And Kylo doesn't even know. He's like, whoa, we're connected? So now they're talking telepathically from millions of miles away from each other. And he's like, are you doing this? Nah, you can. The effort would kill you. So it couldn't be her. So people forget that term. Remember what I just told you there. When he told her, are you doing this? Nah, this can't be you. The effort would kill you. Remember that. Because that line plays very big dividends later on in the film. Now, moving along with the story, Luke eventually helps after R2-D2 shows him the original footage that made him join the rebellion in the first place to go help the princess. When R2 showed him the picture of, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That, he was like, that's a dirty move. It was a lot of little jokes in here that landed. And I mean, a lot of the comedy that was written in there, it didn't take away from the film. I was afraid it would, because I didn't want it to be too jokey. But it gave it a levity it needed. And adding the porgs in there, and they didn't have the porgs in there to the point where they were annoying, like the Ewoks or Jar Jar Binks. They were there in the moments where the kids could like laugh. Even the parents are laughing at the porgs and everything. People enjoyed the film. And that was the key. You wanted to see how the people would enjoy it. The people that are really critiquing it and taking parts away are people who don't even understand it. They just want to come in and find something wrong with it to hate against it. You're going to run into those people. They came in there looking for flaws. You have those people who are never really happy about nothing. They just want to find something wrong. So that's how it goes. So naturally, when all of these things were transpiring, the rebellion is holding out barely. Their shields are keeping on and they're staying ahead, but they're running out of gas. And they want a plan. And Poe is like, look, we need something to happen. Tell us something. Lay us down. Look, Poe thought he was going to get put in charge. And they put in Laura Dern from Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park. She came in and she's the new chief or whatever who's running things. And he don't agree with her. And she's like, look, you got to have hope. If you can only believe in the sun when you see it, you'll never live through the night. So that's what she's trying to tell them. Leia taught them both this thing. So just believe in the plan. Trust the process. So she's trying to get him to do this, but his patience can't take it as they're seeing fleets get lost. So Finn and this new girl, Rose, that you see, she was waiting by the escape pods. Her job was to stay there and stop people from trying to escape and just say, look, I'm out this rebellion. And she already zapped 2 people earlier trying to get out there and escape. They were trying to get out early. They were like, forget the rebellion, I'm out. She had to zap them for being traitors. So they couldn't even escape. Finn wanted to leave because he wanted to find Rey so that she wouldn't come back there because he felt like we're doomed. And she gonna come back here, she gonna be doomed. So I'm gonna go escape so she can come find me and we gonna be safe. Screw everybody else. That was his whole thing. Finn was on that mission. His whole mission was Rey. That was his thing, Rey. That's all. I just want Rey. He wasn't really still in this film sold on the rebellion. That was his arc. I had a problem when I first watched the film with how he acted in this film because I felt like he was halfway in, halfway out. But it was the way the script was. After I watched it a couple of times, that was the way he was supposed to be. He was acting the way he was, so the character was, because the character was kind of in conflict. He was like, look, I want to help you and this and that, but we're doomed. At this point, ain't nothing we can do now, so I don't want Rey to come back in here and die with us. I'm finna go save Rey. So I'm finna get on an escape pod and I'm out of here. He was leaving Poe. He was leaving everybody. So Rose, who's sad because her sister just died, and she was the one that helped blow up she was one of the bombers that died in that attack when they went and took out the dreadnought. So she's crying. She just lost her sister and everything. And she's a big fan. She always works down in the machines and pipes. She never gets seen. So this is the first time she gets to see any of the guys, the heroes. And she's, oh my God, you're the Finn. You know, you used to be with the First Order and you stood up and fought him. My sister said, this is a hero. And he over here trying to escape. Through the escape pod. So when she finds that out, that breaks her heart. So she zaps him. Then they end up talking and they realize that they could shut down the tracking device if they were to sneak on the big ship, which Snoke's ship showed up there personally. So they was like, we got to go to the big ship, Snoke's ship, but we need to find a code breaker. And we got to get a code breaker and sneak them on. So they tell Poe. So Poe's like, we ain't going to tell Laura Dern because I can't stand her. We need to go ahead and get on that ship somehow. So this is where the movie goes left. And this is universal. Everybody did not like this scene. And the thing is, it's not that I didn't like it. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit because I go to the casino. But it's a lot like something you relate to. They go to this rich place. to go find this code breaker. And this whole scene could have been edited to like 2 minutes. It's too long, and it's saying all different type of messages. I don't know if this is Rian Johnson's message, but it had the animal cruelty thing, like horse racing. They got horse racing, and they're whooping and beating the horses. And they was like, this is sad. And it's kind of bringing in the slavery of countries, the way that other countries come in, the rich, enslave the people that work there, have them work there, and they basically take all the ore and all the minerals out. This basically what's happening in Haiti and around the world. You know, how the poor people over there are poor, and then the rich come over there and have them work for them, take all the Jews out. He was sending a message. And the people that got a problem with that, with this whole scene, are those rich people that go to see Star Wars and take their kids to see it. Now they got to feel bad because they go to the track. Now they got to go bad, feel bad when they go to the horse races. And then they're in the casino. And this whole thing just was crazy. It was cool to see all these characters and them gambling and all these like higher up, uppity people in this little rich area where they gamble at. And then, of course, they let the horses loose. These other little kids that were poor, getting beat and mistreated, like other Anakin Skywalkers. They let loose. They let loose the horses. They go crazy. They smash into the casino, tear it all up. They get away. And they found the code breaker, who happened to be, what's his name? Benicio del Toro. Benicio del Toro, I think. And Benicio del Toro, this character was the most irrelevant character in the film. He was completely irrelevant. He helped them break it on, but he pushes the agenda of what Star Wars is based on, good versus bad. And he's trying to tell Finn, he says, man, look, let me learn you something good. Let's see who owns this ship. Oh, he's a weapons maker. Because they make it the only way to get rich in the galaxy is to sell weapons. And selling them to the First Order. That's what the good guys believe, that all this stuff is being sold just to them. But they're getting rich selling it to both sides. And he looks, he said, oh, this guy's made this, he sold this ship. And then, oh, an X-Wing fighter. So he sold the X-Wing over to the good guys, the rebellion. So, like he said, let me learn you something good. Don't pick a side. Be free. And you'll come out your own way. It's to say there is no good guy, bad guy. It's all a point of view. It's all words. And that's what he's trying to say. Everybody thinks they're right in their own point of view. There is no they're good, they're bad. And that's what he's trying to tell them. So, Rey, back to her and Luke. Luke agrees to teach Rey 3 things about the Force. 1, he was teaching her that Force is about life, death, the recreation of life, and all of these things that's inside the world, the Force that's controlling it all, is this glowing, warm light that's got everything going in this whole circle, and all of it is inside her. And Luke is like, yes, yes, you get it. You get it. That's what I'm talking about. Luke was so excited because she got it. He didn't know what to do. He was like, finally, now you get it. That's what the Force is. So when the Jedi think the Force belongs to them, that's just ego. Can't you see that? If the Jedi die, the light dies. Don't you see how stupid that sounds now? It's vanity. So Now Luke is like, yeah, you gonna learn. I'm gonna teach you, and then you gonna learn that the Jedi need to end. So he taught her the second lesson because he was like, the Jedis were so egotistical. They were so in the way of themselves and so full of arrogance that they allowed Darth Sidious, at the height of their power, to build the Sith, come up, destroy all of them, and wipe them out. Because they were proud and hubris and everything else. So he began to go on a mission of trying to explain these things to her and show her the difference between good, evil, bad, and how not to be tempted, and all of these different things. But when she went under and she saw the dark side, she went straight to it. Because Luke was like, okay, strong light, strong darkness, okay, balance. She went deep into the balance. She went deep to the dark side. And Luke jumped. He saw the ground crack and everything. And he's like, you went straight to the dark. You didn't even try to fight it. You just went. So he walked away. Like, I can believe you just went there. And she was like, well, she's like, they offered you something and you went. You didn't even think. You didn't even try to resist. You just went there. And then she was like, well, I didn't see you. I couldn't even hear you. Nothing from you. She was like, you closed yourself off from the Force. Which Luke has pretty much done. He shut himself out of the Force world. But he can always bring himself back. Luke knows everything. He read all these texts. He knows things about the Force that he never knew before and studied. But he didn't pass on what he's learned. And, of course, Rey keeps having these connections with Kylo Ren. And he doesn't understand why the Force keeps connecting him. But he keeps talking about an incident with him and Luke where they fell out at, where Luke felt his power, and he said he felt Kylo, that Snoke had darkened his heart, and Luke was going to kill him, and he put his lightsaber up to protect himself and brought the whole place down, and they thought Luke was dead. He burnt the temple, killed all the students. Luke blamed himself. And that's why he went to that island just to die. Excuse me. We'll continue in 1 second. All right. The 1 second is over. We are back. Oh, we're all interested to see how it plays out. Because at this point, they're connecting and touching hands. Rey has a vision. She sees Kylo Ren and her fighting with Snoke, fighting against Snoke, and Kylo Ren is by her side. So she's like, Kylo's the answer. So Luke and her has a fight because she's like, you tried to kill him. So Luke tells her the truth that he was thinking about killing him, but he changed his mind. And then Kylo saw that and thought he was trying to kill him anyway. So it was a misunderstanding. So, and she was like, you failed him because you thought his decision was already made for him. And it wasn't. His decision wasn't made. So they went from that point on. And she's like, look, either come with me. Here's this lightsaber. You either coming with me or that's that. And Luke wouldn't go. So because Luke wouldn't go, Luke wouldn't do it. They had this situation. She went to Kylo. She got dropped off to Kylo Ren. Kylo took her. And this is where it mirrors. And a lot of people say this is Empire. They were worried about this being Empire. This was another Return of the Jedi. It was more symbolic to Return of the Jedi than it was Empire. The way they on the elevator is like Luke and Vader when he was taking them to see the Emperor. And it was such the same thing, the conversation, the conflict. She's like, I feel the conflict. And he's, no, you're going to turn to the dark side. She's, no, you're going to turn to the light. So they come in there and Snoke was great. Snoke was hilarious. I loved everything about Snoke. He was talking about this girl like, look, you think you're important? Please. Like, come closer. Just let me tell you something. My student, I'm the one that put y'all minds together. Because I knew he was weak enough not to let you see what was in his head. He ain't strong enough. I knew. See, I played off the weaknesses of people. And I knew you was too stupid not to take the bait and bring yourself here to me. Now, this is what's going to happen. You will give me Skywalker's location. Then I'm going to kill you with the most vicious stroke. So she was trying to take the lightsaber and it just came back. Snoke let it hit her in the head. Boop! And he take the sword back like, you young fool. Take a look over here. Look at all them people. Because see, what the rebel came up to is their idea to escape was to actually take the fuel, take the transports, and get out. And since they were tracking the big ship, they weren't going to monitor the little bitty ships that was trying to escape, which was working. Except Finn, they did that plan to send Finn in there to go in there and try to get the code breaker and get in there. So the code breaker go with them. They break into Snoke's ship. They maxed up. That's when you see them in the uniforms going to do this 1 in a million job to try to get it to work. BB-9 reads BB-8 and knew something was funny. got Phasma and everybody else involved, and there it is. And the thing about this is what ties Phasma to the story. Because her whole arc normally was supposedly being the First Order as the one that General Hux reports to run the army, or Kylo would instruct her to do things. And they made her character feel very important in The Force Awakens just to have her minimized more in The Last Jedi. She just shows up only for this scene with her former employee, Finn. You know, he's a traitor and he needs to be executed. So they kind of downgraded what she was supposed to be, or what they thought she was going to be in the film. No, the same things that failed the Emperor end up failing Snoke. Just like in Return of the Jedi. The arrogance, the blindness. That's what happens with the dark side. They're too absorbed with the dark side, they have no light side. And their light side is so condensed down, they can't see the other side. They can't see certain things. They're blind to it. They're blind to a shift. And I remember telling you before the movie started to pay attention to Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader sensed Luke was going to Endor and the Emperor did not. He did not know Luke was on Endor. But Vader knew because they had a connection. He knew. And that's why he was like, strange. You did and I did not. Are you sure your feelings are clear, Lord Vader? Now, when he had told him that, because he missed it. And Vader caught it. Like, how did you catch it? So now he knows something's going on. Or you're not on balance. Something is wrong. But he's not sensing any change in Vader. He's sensing Vader is still here with me. He's still a Sith. I could feel that. But he can't feel the conflict with the other side. And the same thing ended up troubling Snoke in this film. Now, Poe did a whole mutiny thing where he took over the ship. He's trying to help Finn. Like, come on, Finn, we got to get this thing. We got to do it quick. Because she's trying to get us to evacuate. And we're going to die. So, Princess Leia came back and she zapped Poe, stunned him, knocked him out so they can get him on the transport so they can get him up out of there. And the reason why is because he didn't understand that Laura Dern's character is going to stay with the ship so that they could live to see another day. And she's trying to explain to him, like, see, what she's doing, she's not trying to be the hero. She's concerned about preserving the light, helping us survive so that we can continue and go on, more than being the hero. So Laura Dern, in the code breaker, because Poe and Finn came up with this idea to even go to Snoke's ship to try this 1 in a million plan. They get caught. The code breaker, he cut a deal. Because remember, he ain't part of no rebellion. He cut a deal. They was like, well, cut a deal with what? What you got to offer? He was like, well, I kind of told them that to run a check. Because they trying to escape on the transports. And sure enough, there they were. Trying to escape on them little ships. And they start blasting them out of the sky. Boom! Them little transports. Because those little transports don't have weapons on them or nothing. You just there for the ride. So they just blowing them out of the sky. Boom! Boom! Just blowing the fleets up. Taking them out one by one. And then he's sitting there like, code breaker, like, look, man, they blow you up today, you blow them up tomorrow, you know, it's all business, man. They paid them all that money, man. Let's roll this out, baby. Yeah, you know, code breaker, look, code breaker, hey, his character was very minimized and this whole scene was unnecessary, but it brought a point to the story. The point of the story is, had Finn and Rose never went on this adventure, never went and got the code breaker, they would have got on these shuttles and went to this planet. None of this would have went down. They went their way. Dark side would have floated right past them. The First Order would have went right past them. They'd have blew up the ship and thought they killed the rebellion. All would have been perfect. Everybody would have been safe had they listened. But they tried to be heroes. And when you tried to be the hero route, now they compromised. Now you brought this code breaker in there who helped the First Order blow up more ships. While they had trying to escape. They didn't trust the process. So hero ball don't necessarily work. So what you didn't probably see, and we'll go back over it later, is when Rey left Luke, when Luke didn't go and Luke stayed there on the planet, Octu, when he stayed there, she took the Jedi books there with her. Luke tried to burn the tree and burn all the Jedi books, but the Jedi books ain't even there. And Yoda shows up, and he's talking with Luke, telling him, you lost Kylo Ren, but we can't lose Rey. And he was like, I'm going to burn it down. Yoda was like, well, let me do it. Boom, burns the tree. Luke never knows. Luke thinks the books are in there. All the Jedi texts, everything. I was like, Luke, you were going to burn it all down anyway. Listen, he's trying to tell Luke, he's like, look, you always looking to the horizons. You're never looking right in front of you. What's right in front of you, Luke? Rey. You know, see, you thinking about failure too much. He was like, when we teach somebody something, it's not about all the good things we do. It's about all the bad things, the failure, everything else. They learn from all of it. This is the burden of all masters. They exceed what we become. That's the burden of all masters, Luke. You know, Yoda's dropping that knowledge on his head, baby. He was getting it with that knowledge, baby. You can take that right now to the streets. Yoda just gave you $2 million a game from far, far away. Yeah, the rumor prediction had a lot more action. And the funny thing about the rumor prediction is a lot of it happened in the movie. A lot of it happened, which means that that's when I told you in that rumor that this was probably put out by somebody in the studio, and because it was an original script or probably a first draft before they made changes. There were a lot of changes in this film because there was a lot of times where on Act 2 where Rey looked like she had a couple of cheeseburgers and she was out there talking to Luke. I'm like, did she go to Burger King or something before? They got a Burger King on Act 2? What's she been eating? Then they cut to another scene where she's in shape. I'm like, okay, she's in shape now. But before, she was like, you coming with me or not? I'm like, Jesus Christ. She was, man. Thick. I mean, her whole face was the size of the screen. And then, like, that time when she went to the dark side, when she was doing the meditation, and when she came back, looked like she went to the strip club or something. She went out to the nightclub. She came back with lipstick on, and then I'm like, whoa, what happened at the dark side? Did they have a bar down there or something? You was kicking it when you was gone? You then came back with lipstick and got your eyes done and everything. I'm like, what is she done did? That's when you've seen the movie 6 times. You see everything. You pick up every little thing then. Then it cuts back to she's back normal. She was going through her whole size differentials and she's still trying to find out who her parents is and all that stuff. So Kylo is baiting her with that. Like, I know who your parents are. You know, so anyway, Snoke starts taking everything. Like, I'm taking everything from you. She could not block Snoke from taking all her information. So Snoke drops her because he's laughing. Because he's hearing everything Luke is saying. So he's laughing because he's like, I did not expect Skywalker to be so wise. Like, yeah, don't worry. We will give Luke Skywalker the death that he is begging for. Because after we wipe this rebellion out, we gonna go to his planet and blow off the whole island. So she gets mad and starts running over there to go kill Luke. To kill Snoke. And he was, there you go. There's that rebel spirit. Yeah, you are a true Jedi. And he just used the Force to throw her away. Yep, and that's why you have to die. So he puts her on her knees, turns her around. Kylo Ren, disciple of darkness, true heir to parent of Darth Vader. Where I saw weakness, I now see resolve. Pick up that lightsaber and kill her right now. I was laughing so hard. He was, come on. And she's like, Ben, don't do it. Oh, you still think you could turn him? Young fool. Snoke was great. Young fool. I can't be defeated. I can't be turned. He can't turn against me. I can see everything in his head. But he can't feel what's happening. The conflict and what he's thinking. He got that lightsaber by him. He's got Rey's lightsaber sitting by him, Snoke. And Kylo's turning it with his fingers. And it's turning towards Snoke. And Snoke don't even see it. He's seeing Kylo's lightsaber rise. He's, take it out right now and kill your natural enemy. And sure enough, he closes his fingers, and then the lightsaber by Snoke, you see the blue light go right through him. And Snoke is just sitting there in his throne like. And then he just moves his two fingers, and the lightsaber is just still lit, goes through his body. And then he just falls down. And then Rey's hand catches the lightsaber. And she stands up as Kylo just helped her. Snoke is dead. They look at each other. He lights his lightsaber. And they're back to back because now these knights or the Imperial Guards that they got are attacking. This is Snoke's defensive unit. Now they're attacking Kylo and Rey, and they're fighting together. Every movie theater I've been through, all 6 shows, everybody's clapping. Everybody just applauding, like, yes! Like, I'm like, wow, I did not expect all these people to be so into it, and the fighting scene, this was great. Everybody was very happy with the lightsaber scene there. Yep, so Snoke is dead, and then of course here's some people right now talking about the death of Snoke. And he was underutilized. Snoke was this, Snoke was that. Shut up. Let me tell you something. I love Snoke, and I thought that I would see that in episode 9. I thought that's how it would play out in 9. All the stuff I thought that would happen in 9 happened in 8. Why? Because this is the last part of Rian Johnson's story. He's out after this. Out of this trilogy, he's done. He came in for this one. So he was going to take out what he wanted to take out in this one. And set the stage for the next guy to come in, which would be JJ, because they had to get rid of Colin. Colin has an ego problem. And we're going to go into all of that in this chat right here before this thing blows up. I'm going to tell you the truth. Listen. Once this is done, Kylo and Rey, everybody's like they're together. All this is great. But you guys who are talking about Snoke, let's talk about that right quick. Snoke. What did you know about the Emperor? You didn't hear about him at all in 1. In Empire Strikes Back, he was a hologram image only. You see him once. In Return of the Jedi is the only time you see the Emperor. Okay? You knew nothing about the Emperor. You saw him in a couple of scenes. He had like a couple of scenes they got to the end, and you saw that he actually had powers. When he was shooting Luke, he had his scenes. Okay, you've seen more of Snoke than you saw of the Emperor in the whole original trilogy. Now, with that being said, you didn't know anything about the Emperor. Nothing about him until you saw the prequels and you saw how he ended up coming to power and how he led everything up. They might do that down the road with Snoke. And you'll find out Snoke's story. How Snoke came and where he came from. You just don't know yet. Can't hit the fast forward button, alright? But in the original trilogy, the Emperor wasn't really the big story. The story wasn't about him. So, it's the same thing. Now, that's for those critiquing people who love to go crazy over stuff. You know, like I told you, they look for stuff to pick on. He was underutilized! Well, then the Emperor was underutilized in the original trilogy, then. The story isn't about Snoke. The story is about Kylo Ren, Rey, this whole new beginning. They finna end this whole Skywalker saga. Okay, at the end of this, the whole Skywalker thing is going to probably be gone. We're going to find out probably more about Rey's parents as Kylo tells her, your parents were nothing but junk traders. They abandoned you. and sold you for booze. And they left. They traded you for booze. You're nobody. You have no place in this story. You're nothing, but you're something to me. Join me and we could run with it. Forget all this. Let it all die. Let the rebellion die. The Sith, we gonna have a whole new order around here. Let all of this die. Just let it all go. Quit holding on. Let all of it go. Let's start anew. And she's like, let's not do this. Come on now. We was doing good, man. Working as a team. So he's like, take my hand, please. So she reaches out like she gonna take his hand. And she goes for her lightsaber. And then they're both fighting for the lightsaber. And it's floating in the air. It's shaking and they both doing this. And while they blowing up the ship, Laura Dern, who's still on the big ship, she turns the ship around and goes into light speed right towards their ship. Boom! Blows up one half of Snoke's ship, knock a wing off, take out the other fleets, split all of them up. And she sacrificed herself to save them so that they can get to that planet, which is a planet crate, which is an old rebel base. Now, they want to get there so they can radio for help so somebody can come and assist them while they're there. Most of the people are not going to show up because Starkiller Base just took out an entire planet system. So now that the entire planet system got knocked out, everybody's still in fear. So they heard Leia, but they ain't coming to help. And they sending all these ships out to go take out their big gun. They got this big gun trying to come in. That's when you see all them ships going over there, and all the white stuff, and you see the red. The whole planet is really red. The white that's on top of it, that's the salt. So the place is full of, like, covered with salt, and you see these little sky foxes, crystal foxes going past. So Rey leaves. They both get knocked out once that ship hits and the explosion happens. The lightsaber's broken. She wakes up before Kylo takes it, and then Hux walks in, sees Snoke is dead, Kylo on the floor. He's about to shoot Kylo in the head, and then Kylo wakes up. He was, oh. What happened? The girl killed Snoke. He's like, we finna go to that planet and wipe them out. She escapes in one of the shuttles that Snoke had or whatever. Rey does. She get on that shuttle and she's gone. Kylo heads down. They go to the planet and they're going at it. And just when hope is lost, Finn is getting ready to sacrifice himself to take out the big gun. And Poe Dameron, who's leading the attack, is telling Finn, no, we gotta retreat. They picking us off one by one. We can't, there's no way we're gonna reach there in time. He's, I can't let him win. So he cuts Poe off, he cuts off Rose, he don't want to hear it. He's become the mirror image of what Poe was. But he finally fell into being part of the rebellion instead of, I'm just here for Rey. He finally realized in this moment that it's bigger than just me going after Rey and being selfish. It's about everybody. It's about a cause. We got to keep people, believing in hope. He finally had hope and belief and faith, basically. Instead of just being selfish out for him and just, I'm here for Rey. So now he's trying to go and be part of it. And Rose love him more now. Now he's going into this light and he's headed right next to the gun, willing to sacrifice himself to take that gun out. And right before that happens, boom! Rose sacrifices herself and runs right into Finn. And Finn gets out, he runs over to Rose, and she's all badly cut up and injured. And he's like, why did you do that? She's, I saved you, you dummy. That's how we're going to win. Not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. And then they blow up that big door they got, and she kisses Finn on the lips. Which shocked Finn. He didn't really kiss her back. It was like, I ain't really that into you. I kind of got a chick. Trying to get back to what I had over here working with Ray, you know. But I mean, I guess. And now he's starting to feel something for her. As he, you know, now that she sacrificed herself, I don't know if he feels guilty, you know, about, you know, dragging this chick along, this fan. So now he taking her back there, and Leia's about to give up. She thinks Hope is all out, and who comes in? Luke Skywalker. What's up? Talks to Leia. They have a very it's weird and eerie how this conversation happened, because obviously she wasn't dead or sick at this point in time, and they were talking about Han, and he was like, I'm here to face Kylo Ren. You know, I'm here to face him, Leia. I'm here to face him. It's going down. And she's like, I know. I tried to keep Hope out, but I know my son's lost. I can't. She's like, I just can't deny that no more. He's gone. Then he gave her this dice and said, no one's truly lost. And he gave her the dice that was hanging up in the Millennium Falcon in episode 4. It wasn't there in 5 and 6, but it was there in 4. And if you learn anything about the dice that was hanging up in the Millennium Falcon, it was brought back in The Force Awakens. Those gold dice that you saw in the movie, a lot of people don't understand. Those were the dice he used to win the Millennium Falcon. It was a dice game he was playing. He won the Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian in the dice game. Playing a certain type of game. That's why the dice got all that weird wording on it and all that stuff. That's what he used to win the Millennium Falcon from Lando. So he puts those dice in her hand and he kisses her on top of the... Oh yeah, Solo movie comes out May 25th where you will see those dice. That's why they played into the movie. So he puts the dice in Leia's hand. He kisses her on the head. But he tells her no one's really truly gone. And that was the last words he ever told her in the film. And she ended up passing away in real life, we know. So it's weird how that connects. Now, hold on one second. I'll be back and I'll conclude this thing and we can move on. All right. Now, going into this, there were a lot of different things that transpired. Meaning that Luke is getting ready to go out and face Kylo Ren, who he hadn't seen since the time he basically failed him. Kylo sees him as they're in these walkers. He's flying in his ship above. He orders every single gun to shoot down Luke Skywalker. I want every gun to take that man out. They shoot all their guns at Luke. Like all of them are shooting at once. Luke walks through all of it. Comes out and goes. The whole movie theater, oh my God. Everybody was mesmerized. It just took everybody like, whoa, it's finna go down. Yeah. People thought it was like they paid their money to see a fight, like a boxing match. And it's like, oh, it's finna go down now. So Kylo comes down there to meet him. He got his sword out, and he's talking with Luke, and he comes in. He's the one doing all the attacking. Luke is just standing there in his mode. Kylo comes in for attack, and Luke ducks it, gets out of the way, slips, but he never swings at Kylo. Then Kylo comes in for another attack and miss. And Poe is watching this, and he's like, and Finn's like, we gotta go help Luke. He's like, no. Luke is doing this for a reason. And it starts to hit him that he's doing this so we can escape. He's like, we need to try to find an exit to get in. Like, how did he get in here? You know, we gotta find a way out. He's like, no, he's like, no, we are the spark that's gonna light the fire that's gonna burn down the First Order. And he's finally got what Leia's trying to tell him, that sometimes you have to retreat to fight another day. To keep that hope alive is more important than going out trying to, in a blaze of trying to be the hero. So he's starting to get that now. And she's excited that she's trying to pass the torch to him. And she's like, he's like, come on, follow me. And he takes off, and everybody looks at Leia, and she's like, what you looking at me for? Follow him? Because she's tired of really doing this. She's trying to pass the torch on, and that's what the films are doing. And that's what all these original 3 characters that came back were trying to do. Pass this torch along. You know, from Han to Luke to Leia. And this is how the cycle was going to go. Han, I knew, wanted out immediately. If he was coming back, it was going to be for one and one only, and he is done. So I already knew he was going to go in The Force Awakens. I knew Luke was going to go out in 2, if not 1. He probably wanted to go right out with Han. Luke don't want to be filming Luke Skywalker no more. I mean, Mark Hamill don't want to do that no more. I mean, for him to come back, it would only be for an exit. So the fact that they used him there, he would have rather gone out in 6. And now he was brought back for The Last Jedi. And he might come back for a bit piece in the next one as a spirit ghost. You never know. With Luke, he could do that. And come back for that little couple of days shoots. Then boom, he's back to Arizona. That's how Mark Hamill is. But back to this movie. As him and Kylo's talking, Kylo's like, the resistance is dead, you know, and he's like, the resistance is dead, the war is over, and when I kill you, I would have killed the last Jedi. And Luke was like, wow, that's amazing. Everything you just said was wrong. The rebellion is reborn today. The war is just beginning, and I will not be the last Jedi. And he was, I will kill her. I'll kill it. I'll burn it all down. He was, no, you won't. You kill me, I'm going to always be at your side. You strike me down in anger, I will always be by your side. Just like your father. Man, he runs at Luke with everything he got. He swings, and the sword goes right through Luke. He turns around, Luke is right there. Then he takes the lightsaber and pokes it through Luke. Like, what is this? And then they cut away, and on Act 2, Luke is floating, meditating. He never was there. Use the Force, spirit ghost. And he tells him, see you around, kiddo. And he disappears. And Luke is sitting there with his Force ghost meditating. Then he falls and collapses. Then he crawls back up on the stone, looks at the sun, and faded away. a much better job than what they did in Thor Ragnarok with Odin when he turned into gold dust. Luke faded away and went to the Force Ghost as he died. And people was upset that Luke died. And I'm like, look, Luke's gonna die. That's just it. They was like, man, Luke was supposed to do this, do no. It's about story. It's not about Luke. This is about them kids. What you gonna do? Luke kills him. What then? What? Then what? Where Nine going? It's not about that. It's about story. They're like, well, Rey turned out to be nothing. That's a waste. What all this stuff about her parents? We don't know yet. Her parents might have not been that. You have to watch the story. In conclusion, this is why I don't like people do spoilers and they just tell you bits and pieces about something. And they don't tell you because they miss the vital pieces of the story. And people wondering, why did Luke die? How did Luke die? Because he did that. He did one thing and he did. Just because he did that. Remember what I told you early on in this video. When he said the effort alone would kill you to Rey. Just for her to connect them. For her, the effort alone would have killed her. Just to try to do that. So she wasn't strong enough to do that. For Luke to putting his entire image millions of miles away on a whole nother planet to go and fight a battle for as long as he did. He never swung at anybody. He never did anything except for he touched Leia, he kissed her on the forehead, and he winked at C-3PO and he walked out. So that was all he really needed to do. It was so perfect for him to be projected there. Luke didn't have to be there physically, but for him to use that effort and his age, it took a lot out of him, out of his life. And he basically gave his life to save everybody else in the rebellion. It was a bigger picture than him being the hero. Then you see the theme of the movie? It's not about being the hero to save the day. It's about preserving the light that will eventually light another spark that will grow. Keeping the rebellion alive was much more important. And as they cut away, as Rey comes in there and she gets all the stones to move here and there, and they were like, how did she move all those rocks? Luke had to train for weeks. Now Rey could just move rocks? I'm like, one, Rey is very powerful with the Force. Luke was just awakening and learning this stuff with moving rocks and stuff with Yoda, but he didn't believe right away. Luke didn't really fully give himself up. Rey is more believing, more into hope than Luke ever was. Luke was more pessimistic even when he knew a little something, even when he blew up the Death Star, even when he went to Yoda. He went to Yoda thinking he knew every doggone thing. He still didn't believe it. And Yoda would say, this is why you fail. So yeah, he never went in it with the same mindset of Rey. Rey was positive. Rey is optimistic. And in the movie, you see them two conflicting. Her positive energy and his pessimistic energy, they're colliding the entire film. So yes, she will be able to do all these things because she believes that she can. Luke was struggling. Luke is still thinking he's using his muscles. Luke, you think the Force is about that? Not this crude matter. Feel the Force. I mean, Yoda had to come and educate him all the way at the end. Yoda had to wake him back up. saw on the Millennium Falcon, she had all the books with her. She got everybody on the Millennium Falcon. They flying out, and it's like less than 100 people on this ship. Less than 100 in the rebellion, and she's got the broken lightsaber. She's like, what do we do now? Like she's like, we got all we need. She's like, how do we make it now? Like, where do we go from here? Because she's like, Luke died. I felt it, but he was at peace. She was like, I felt it too. But she's like, Leia's like, we got all we need right here. So they pull off. And the credits go to it don't go to the credits yet. It goes to another scene. The scene back on that racing island that they were on. And this is why it was on here. Rian Johnson is going to be doing his own trilogy where he's going to write and direct all 3 of these movies, and it has nothing to do with Skywalker, none of these things. It's his own Star Wars saga. Now, because that he's doing his own trilogy and saga, he's going to be able to try to find a way to bridge that. And you start seeing the little kid Rose gave the ring to, and these little kids are talking about what happened with Luke and everything. And Luke Skywalker, he did this, and they're telling the other kids. So you can see the story is spreading throughout the universe of what happened, how they stood up to the First Order and this and that. So he's got his rebel ring on, that you turn it and it turns into a rebel. Look like something they got right out of KB Toys. And and he uses the Force to pick up the broom as he's looking to the sky, and then he's like holds his broom up almost like a lightsaber, and then it cuts off. And everyone's like, wow, what's going on? Now that is a symbol of a lot of things. Like, this is how hope is going throughout the galaxy, and then new things arise. But this tells me these kids are going to be in the Rian Johnson trilogy that's coming up in the next Star Wars. As that's why he was going there to do this little scene with this little rich town and all this political things in place. He's putting things in place for his world that he's finna build when he does his Star Wars. So that's gonna be the climax there. Now the pieces that J.J. Abrams gonna have now that J.J.'s back taking it over, and I said we were gonna talk about that once the movie was over, once I went through the movie. Now the runtime was too long. I would have edited out a lot of sequences, but it was very important for the story because you couldn't take it out because you needed vital key pieces in there to connect this and connect that and connect this, because they have to wrap all these things up as Phasma ends up getting killed by Finn, if I forgot to tell you about that. But it was so meaningless because her character was so meaningless. It was minimized so much in here as we assumed from the first film that she would have a bigger role. Now, there have been a lot of cuts in this film. Oh my God, things that you saw in the trailer. Rey was running down in the Battle of Crate with her lightsaber. Remember that on the trailer? She's running on the Battle of Crate, and she's in the battle. She's got her lightsaber in her hand. Now, it's not broken. So we're like, well, what happened? Where was the rewrite? Because that's what I told you. There was a rewrite where Luke didn't die. There was one where he didn't die, so that might have been misdirection. He escaped with them when they went there, and Leia was in a coma. Now, this was a whole different type of script. Then they have the script where Luke tells her to look beyond the light, the dark, and like, do you see the middle? Yeah, there's so much more. And that whole scene has been reshot and redone. That's why you see in the scene, she basically tells Luke Skywalker the same thing twice. When she goes up there and he asks her, like, so what do you know about the Force? And she was like, when she tells him, Kylo Ren, he's strong with the dark side of the Force, and you got to come back to help us. She basically does this scene twice in the movie. And nobody really picked that up. That's why I say, when you watch it 6 times, you will pick that up. And the reshot, when the one she went to Burger King and ate like two double cheeseburgers before, when they had that scene, she was basically telling them then, yeah, Kylo Ren, yeah, he done took over, and your sister Leia needs you to come back. This double cheeseburger good. When they saw that, when they had that scene in the movie, I'm like, man, what was she eating in between the shots? So they got that scene, then they got another scene where she does it right before she gets on the rock. So that tells me they did another reshoot to do this scene, and they just, for some reason, could not cut one scene out because it was a joke in another one. So she repeated herself twice in the film, basically. So that could have been cleaned up a little bit, and I think they did this to change a couple of things around. I don't know if it's because Leia died and how they wanted to reshoot a certain scene and all these different things. I have no idea why. We'll find out a lot when the DVD come out, but they should be some incredible scenes that were cut out that we get to watch that would make this probably a whole different type of movie. Because if the lightsaber don't break and they don't have that back and forth, and how does she on the Battle of Crate with a working lightsaber out there on the field of battle, running out there? It's really weird. And her and Kylo was supposed to have like a clash on Crate. I don't know what happened here. Oh, get the art book? Yeah, I normally get the art books. Now, let's talk about Colin right quick. Colin is the reason that a lot of this stuff is messed up. And when I mean Colin, I mean, what's his name? Colin Trevorrow, the director. He was supposed to do episode 9. There's a reason why he's not doing episode 9. He's not doing episode 9 because of his ego. His ego cost him. Colin Trevorrow's ego is through the roof. He did Jurassic World. He made a lot of money. He got rich. He got arrogant. And he's very hard to work with. And the person, Kathleen, who was in charge of Star Wars, period, Lucas put everything in her hands. She was the one that had your back. And you turn on her and tell her what's what. And nobody's going to do what to your story. And you're going to do what you want to do with it. Yeah, that's kind of not going to fly. When they tell you, we want you to make changes, you want to make changes, and that's it. J.J. Abrams is the executive producer of all 3. He's going to oversee all 3, and I don't think Colin kind of had a problem with that. So when they brought in a new writer to write the script, and they're not going to have J.J. write it anymore. They're going to have they brought in a great writer who could write this script, and they liked the script that he got. Based with talking with Ryan and everything else in the direction of where Ryan went with it, now JJ can just come in and just direct, and that's where his main focus can be. You don't have to deal with too much with the writing process because it was so hectic with the rewrites and reshoots, and he's never dealt with nothing this massive with secrets and everything. You got to protect so many secrets when doing Star Wars. Because any little piece leak out, you know, it could be vital to the whole franchise. So you got to basically write fake stories, put out fake stories, and have people going in one direction, going in another direction. And then you got to worry about your main story. And then you don't want the fake story to be better than your main story. Because then people be like, why the fake story didn't get made? I would have loved to seen 10 Jedis fly out of the sky with their swords down, and it would make no sense, but the fans would have loved that. I want to see Luke just use a force repel. Boom, just blow 6 and all them things out. I thought Luke was going to use the force repel and blow those AT-ATs up. And I'm like, man. that's the fanboy in you, and I don't blame you for wanting to see those things, but it kind of takes away from the story. Yeah, pull the Star Destroyer from the sky. Luke's got the power to pull a Star Destroyer from the sky. I'm like, yeah, in the comics, they're made for that in the comics. That's why they're comics. Because they're made for that type of, activity. So you can't put everything in a comic into a film. You're telling a story. And this whole thing connected so perfectly that it told a very good story and a message in that story. Now, when you go into this last film, the arc is basically the light has been shined so brightly. I just don't know how they continue it from here. Like, where do the New Order go to find them? Because they can't track them no more. That's done. They'll have to find him now. And it's basically going to come down to Rey versus Kylo. And she's basically giving up on him now. She's like, I'm done. I tried to save you as much as I can, but you want me to be on the dark side, and that's just not going to happen. But then you see Poe and Rey meet, and it's like for the first time, and I'm like, they never met before? And I'm saying to myself, like, they never met? She's like, hi, I'm Rey. He's like, oh, I know who you are. And then she kind of looks at Finn, and Finn was putting a blanket on Rose, as she's recovering, and she's kind of looking like, Like, okay, now he taking care of another chick, she gonna be checking him. Go take care of that little girl you got over there that's injured. No, don't come over here acting like you was so worried about me. Go on over there and take care of him. Well, you was out there doing Jedi training, out there just flew off, and I was out there sick in the bed, at least she was here. You out there trying to go with Luke Skywalker. No, I ain't trying to hear, don't switch this on me. Oh yeah, they gonna have that love triangle. It's gonna be the Finn story. Rose and him. Don't talk to Finn like that. Who you talking to? He my man. I'll force choke you. He gonna be like, look now, baby. Look. Rose, I understand. I love what you're trying to do, but she bad with that force stuff. I wouldn't get her upset. Look, I was coming to look for you. Look, I got this beacon. See how it's blinking? So I could find you, babe. That's a whole nother Star Wars movie getting ready to happen. This whole love triangle thing. But nah, they finna fix this thing up right now. They gonna hook Finn up with that. He gonna choose the Asian chick because she already, she a fan of him and she probably could cook. So Rey too much into fighting. I know, hey, he wanted to get up with that, and that's probably the first chick he ain't seen in a minute. So he was trying to hit that, but now this one's already here. You might as well take this one. But I think Poe and Rey gonna hook up, and that's gonna be that wild Han Solo type of pilot, and Poe and Leia type of warriors. Solo, when Rey and Poe gonna hook up, and I see these things coming. That introduction was not by accident. They gonna be having barbecues, Poe and Finn. Like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, man, I had her first, but she with you now. That's all good. It's good. I'm over here. I got my little Rose. Yeah, we at the barbecue. They gonna be doing good. So there it is. Star Wars. The Last Jedi. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this. I hope you like the layout. Oh yeah. Definitely go see this movie. It's worth every cent, dime, and nickel. I'm doing all this talking. I might go see it again tonight. Number 7 coming up.